Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Amelia Danielle. If you are new, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and rocking with me. Your support means so much. But before we get started, please make sure you click on that subscribe button and click on those post notifications, and so every time I upload a video, you will be notified. And so today's video, I will be breaking down certain things, and so down below when I get ready to upload this, the video will be broken down into chapters. And so if you don't want to watch a certain part, or if there are certain things that you want to watch, the chapters will be listed down below for you. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with today's video. Y'all, when I tell y'all like life be lifing, I say that all of the time because that's just what it is. That's just what be happening, and I don't know what other way to talk about life be lifing, right? And so being that I am a warrant officer, I have been dealing with a lot of things, numerous amount of things, and I don't know if it is like something that I should talk about all the time or if I should just not speak on it at all. But I feel like there is somebody out there that is going through and experiencing the same thing in the Army or as a civilian, regardless of what job title they have, what occupation they have, what rank they may be, in regards to them being in the military. So when I say life be lifing, and for me, what I have found that helps me is that I try to take something out of that situation and always think about the positives. So for example, if my husband say, well, yeah, because do. And I'm like, you know what? Nope, we not doing that. I don't even care about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to even speak on it because I already have enough going on already at work with my kids to then sit here and talk and have a negative conversation about something that I don't care about. So I be trying to, instead of talking about the negativities of the conversation or the situation or scenario that happened, I just try to, you know, take a deep breath, close my eyes and be like, you know what, babe, I got it. I don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Because at this point, we can't do nothing about it. And I'm not going to stress about it because I have so many other things going on in my life that I just don't want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So life be lifing. Also, I am in my bonus room. I am redoing my bonus room. And so right here on this side is all of my purses and my fragrances. But also in regards to life, let me tell y'all what happened, y'all, right? So last semester, my son is a senior. He graduates this upcoming school year, which will be 2025. I would say May, the end of May, June timeframe, right? And so he plays sports, he plays football, and he plays basketball. Now, last week, I got a letter talking about an appeal due to your son missing so many days of school, like 13 days. Can you please provide documentation based off of these days? And I was like, okay, cool. You know, too easy. But then the letter needed to be returned by like that following Monday. So I only had 5 days to contact different doctor's offices and figure out what it is that I needed, or, you know what I'm saying, in regards to Jaden being able to play. And for me, I was just like, well, why are y'all concerned about last semester? Last semester was 2023. We are in 2024. And I was a little conflicted because I'm just like, well, why do you wait, the school or whoever, the board, waits until sports are about to start to then ask about different absences and to provide documentation for those absences? And so it wasn't making sense for me, and I wasn't frustrated. I just was like, you know what, Jay, I got you. You're gonna have to give me some time. And he was like, well, no, Mom, because I need it by Monday. Now, I went up to the school last Friday and I left an email with the academic advisor. I requested to speak to the academic advisor. They were busy. But when I emailed her yesterday, which was Monday, because today is Tuesday, she did respond right away. She has been and had conversations with me on multiple times. She has been quick to respond to emails. And so, I'm like, at this point, Jay, I don't know what to do other than, because I went up there and I got the attendance sheet to go over what days he was absent. So for example, he was absent like on a Monday, first period, but he wasn't absent in second, third, and fourth period. So I'm like, well, Jay, did you just go to school late? You know? And he was like, well, no, I might have been tardy, and maybe the teacher just put me as being absent instead of marking me as being tardy. And I'm like, listen, this was in 2023. I don't even know if you have the same teacher. I don't even know if this teacher is going to remember. But I say all of that to say that I have been doing a lot of running around, right? As a warrant officer, as a parent, I have been doing a lot of running around. now. And so in my mind, I'm sitting here like, man, I really have a lot of stuff going on, because after I went up to the school Friday, went up to the school today, which is Tuesday, sent emails, multiple emails on Monday, I ended up going to the college as well. So Jaden is in college, and I had to go up to the college. I had to talk to the academic advisor. I'm trying to have it to where if he doesn't graduate with an associate's, I want him to be almost complete with an associate's. And so when he transfer into college, he won't have to complete a 4-year college degree. He'll have to do like maybe 2.5, 3 years. So when I say life be lifing, y'all, life be lifing, but life be lifing, I would ask that you take accountability for how you respond to certain situations in certain scenarios. Don't let something that you want to do or accomplish, or something that may be going on in your life, whether it's a boyfriend, whether it's a spouse, whether it's your leadership, whether it's your kids, whatever it is, you have to push through and take accountability for whatever it is that you may be doing wrong that may have had you in the situation that has you going through what you're going through now. Like, what could you have done to better help you in that situation? Would you have responded a certain type of way? Would you have ignored it? Would you have quit on something that you wanted to do? Would you push through it? Will you have regrets moving forward? And then just take a moment to reset. Once you compile all of those things in your mind, once you write everything down, once you figure it out what it is to what you need to do and how you are going to maneuver, push through and keep it going, you will be all right. You just need to reset, because life be life, and you have to take a break. You have to take moments and time for yourself to figure out what it is that you need. Ask for help. Tell your job like, listen, I'm going to be late today. I'm just not feeling it. Or even tell your job like, listen, I don't feel good. I'm sick, but I missed sick call. So being that I missed sick call, maybe I'll go to urgent care. Or can you just please give me the day off? I just need a reset. I need a mental break. I need some help. And then just be able to communicate what you are feeling and what you may be going through, because maybe no one else knows. Maybe you are trying to go through this on your own. I know for me also, a lot of people tend to ask me like, hey, Chief, you're so small. You're so little. Like, I'm surprised you ain't gaining weight. And I'm just like, do you want me to gain weight? Like, is my weight a problem for you? And if so, why do you care? Like, I have been married to the same person for 11 years, and my spouse has not one time said anything about my weight. Not me being too small, not me being too big. So I understand that people will say things and people will have their opinion, but you can dictate how you feel about those comments. You can control how you feel. We are getting too old to lash out. We are getting too old to have an attitude. We are too old to not take accountability for how we respond to certain things that people say and do. And so when I say life be lifing, I just want y'all to know that it is going to be okay. Pray about it. Ask God for healing. Ask God for you to be able to have patience. Ask God to let you be patient with yourself. Let you be patient with your kids, your spouse. Every day is going to be a different day. Just thank God that you are up and you are able to see another day. But then after you do that reset, after you take a break, after you go back to work, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Be positive. Don't be negative. Don't go to work talking about people. You know what? We're not even going to talk about that, because that's a whole nother conversation. So you know what? I wanted to talk to y'all about how life be lifing and how you can get through and maneuver through that. And so next I am going to talk about Sergeant Roger. Sergeant Roger sent me a long email, and I want to help him out because him or her, I'm not sure if it's a male or a female, would you purchase one of the hoodies? If so, which one? I'm sorry, y'all. So I have my phone here, and so I'm looking at my phone screen, but I will be pulling up the email that Sergeant Roger sent me. And so I'm going to break this down into another chapter. So now I'm going to go ahead and start with the second portion of this video. It is Sergeant Rogers. He or she is asking for a 92 Yankee mentorship. So it says, and I'm going to read y'all the full email. It says, "Good evening, Chief Fullwood. It is Sergeant Rogers who contacted you about 2 months ago when I was stationed at Fort Liberty. I am a reclass," and so I believe Sergeant Rogers is an SFAB. "I am a reclass, and I want to say thank you so much for the memo and the advice that you gave me. I am emailing you because, as I spoke about a little bit to you last time, I will be going into my new unit in Fort Moore after Veterans Day. I watched both of your 92 Yankee videos and series on YouTube, and I mapped out my goals and things like that I know that when I get to my unit, the first thing is that I need to know what to do in regards to having G-Army access, make sure I have the e-flipple access, and important things such as AESIP, DST, parts tracker, and how to be able to complete and conduct lateral transfers. The questions that I have, Chief, is what in your opinion should I do when I first get to my unit? I understand that I need to speak with the commander and get his expectations and things like that. But I do not want to mess this opportunity up with me showing first impressions to my new command team. In your video, you talked about how you don't want to hear Yankees just checking their emails and going to the SSA, and that is so understandable. I am also on PCS leave at the moment, Chief, and can't get access into EUM Plus or my military email on my personal computer, and I don't have access to a government computer. Chief, I watched your videos, and the questions below that I have pertains to G-Army. I want to be able to know my job and possibly only lean on the S4 if it is something that's so crucial that I don't know the answer to. Number one, how can I make sure that I don't have to do orals? My prior S4 spoke about possibly my clerks ordering shortages a certain way, and that's why equipment was popping up for class 2 to be turned in. I was highly confused, and I just want to make sure that I could possibly get a proper understanding with you on orals. That's the first question. The second question is, I understand S ratings. In your opinion, what would be the best way to tackle an S rating to make sure that your unit is in the green of that and doesn't fall below the standards of making sure that we are able to deploy and things like that? Chief, in your video, I was listening to what you were saying, and I was confused about what I have in quotation marks below on the topic of updating bombs and shortages through G-Army. Quotation marks. How to update through G-Army. She speaks about as commanders is going around doing 10% cyclic inventories. If there's a change to the bomb, make sure he signs the new one and update the quantity, and make sure that you consume it. Make sure that the commander signs the updated material slip. Chief, I would also possibly like an understanding of what MATSIT is. I used to have a 92 Alpha Samples class that spoke about MATSIT, and I just want to make sure that whether it is me ordering supplies, how can I make sure that I get a clear understanding of what MATSIT is, and how is it important to me being a 92 Yankee? Per your video and understanding a little bit of the MOS within the first 72 hours, I want to make sure that I touch foot on my installation. When I touch foot on my installation, that I speak with the commander about his expectations, get my SAR completed and AESIP, and have eFlipple access. Look at my supply cage in my office, update all my 1687s, update my schedule, making sure 1330 to give 30 minutes prior, introducing myself to my PBO, looking at the commander's S-log and property book, looking up any incoming and outgoing lateral transfers. Chief, please let me know if I need to do anything else within the first week. I appreciate your guidance and help, and I apologize for this very complex email, but I'm trying my best to succeed with the leaders in the military that are willing to help. Thank you for your time, Chief. Sergeant Rogers. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started with the first question. And the first question says, Chief, in your video, I was listening to what you were saying, and I was confused about what I have in quotation marks down below, which is how to update through G-Army. You speak about commanders going around and doing 10% cyclic inventories. If there's a change to the bomb, make sure that he signs the new one and update the quantity, and make sure you consume, and make sure that the commander signs an updated material slip. All right, so in regards to bombs being updated and cyclic inventories, they are two different things, I would say. And I say that because bombs typically don't get updated often, but if they do and there is a change, you can always pull the bomb change report, and it will basically, so for example, let's just say you went through a change command in June and you are doing your 10% cyclics, because every month you're doing certain lens based off of your property book, right? So then when the new incoming commander comes to start doing their change of command, because let's think about this, we have to do a pre-change, and so when your outgoing commander is doing pre-change of command, you can go ahead and pull that bomb change report. That way you will know what bombs got updated from the time your commander came in June and doing pre-change, and so you can catch all of the changes. That way when your new commander, incoming commander, comes through, you and the outgoing commander will already have updated your pre-change of command bombs to say, hey, we didn't need this before on the previous bomb, and now that there has been a change to the bomb by us pulling the bomb change report, there's a new update. It's not going to be a fault to nobody, because again, you're doing your 10%. You're not going back to the lane that you did your 10% on in the beginning after you did your change of command. So if you did your change of command in June, you are now going to be in a certain lane range in July, right? So you're not going to know what changed in July if you just did a change of command in June. You won't even really know what changed unless you are doing a turn-in, a lateral transfer, and you are trying to transfer something to a new unit and you reprint that BOM and then something changed on it. And so my recommendation is that you won't really need to have your BOMs updated based off of your BOMs being updated or changed unless you are doing a pre-change or unless you are doing a change of command. You don't want to keep printing BOM reports and then every time a BOM change, you have your commander adding on to the 10%. So if you are doing your 10% within those limb ranges, just stick with those BOMs. So if you did do your inventories in June and you now are in July, you won't know if the BOM changed. You see what I'm saying? But if you do, you know, have a BOM change in November or December. And for the most part, a lot of units don't even have cyclic inventories in December because it is the holidays. And so if we roll around to January and you get to that BOM and you're looking like, well, okay, let's compare what the commander inventoried when he first took over in June versus what he's inventorying in January, and you see that there was a change to the BOM, that's completely fine. That's not a fault against you or the commander, because at the time that he did do his inventories, this is what the BOM said that you needed and what you was required. Now something that fell off, which means you have excess and you can turn that expendable or durable in, or that means something got added, which means you will let your G8 know, you will let your S4 know, like, hey, based off of the BOM change, please see the attached. We didn't need this at the time, and now the Army is saying that we do need it. What are your recommendations? Do you recommend we order it? Of course you're going to make it a shortage. You're going to put 0 and you are going to print a material slip, but you don't want to keep doing that unless you know for a fact you are in a position to know, because you mentally have been doing your inventories and doing like your 10% cyclists and making sure the BOMs and stuff are getting updated with the commander when he turns in his BOMs and when it's time for him to do pre-change. I'm trying to make sense of what I'm saying. So what I'm saying to answer your question is, the only time you need to do or be concerned about a BOM change is if you know that it changed. And the only way you will know if it changed is if you are running a BOM change report every month, or when time for you to do pre-change and change of command. Now, if something has changed on the BOM, it won't be a flipple. It won't be nothing against the supply sergeant, the sub-hammer seat holder, or the commander. You just need to be able to identify, like, hey, at this time we wasn't required to have it. Now we are. Every unit and organization is different. With me being a PBO, I will say, hey, commander, make sure you annotate that as being a 0. Make sure you attach the old BOM with the new BOM, and then we'll just see if we can get your shortage funded, because we don't need to keep doing a flipple as a relief document. The BOM change is the relief document. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I hope I answered that question, Sergeant Rogers. Now, in regards to that, it says make sure that the quantities are being updated and that you consume it. So you won't be able to consume a shortage unless the shortage came in. And so what happens is a lot of 92s will do a change of command. They will initiate the flipple. They will complete the flipple and have all of their non-expendables, all their expendables, and all of their durables on the flipple. But you forget to release your shortages. You will go in there and create a PB01 work order, and you won't order your shortages. It's like you won't hit the release flag and you won't save it to push those shortages or those items to your G8 and Z part, which means your shortages won't get funded, which means your shortages won't come in. And so if you have a PBO, because yes, I'm pretty sure every battalion has a PBO. We were short at one point, but at this point, the Army has filled a PBO being at the battalion level. So get with your PBO, get with your S4, see how they want to go about you ordering your shortages for your change of command. Sometimes the G8 will say, hey, we got 100K. Go ahead and tell them to release all of their shortages based off of their change of command so they can get funded. And as they are getting funded and you are getting document numbers when you go check your ZPROSTAT, you can then consume them and PGR them and update your BOM, or you can update your BOM however your commander wants to do it. But as you are issuing out those shortages, you need to make sure that they are signing whoever is signing for that shortage, make sure they sign a 1348 and make sure you go in and consume that shortage based off of your PB01 work order. All you're going to do is go in there and identify the item that came in, and you're going to then update the quantity, and then you're going to save it and print. From there, all you're going to do is print a new material slip saying, hey, these are the shortages that you have. These are the shortages that came in. I'm going to go ahead and consume it and give you an updated material slip, and I'm going to have the commander go ahead and sign off saying that based off of these 1348 that you signed, these are the shortages that came in, and so you are now being fully responsible and accountable for these shortages. And so, hey, listen, when time for this commander change out, if you lose these, being that I know that they were ordered because I had valid document numbers and I PGR'd it, and I know I issued it out to you on a 1348, and I updated the material slip, you gonna need a statement of charges. Because guess what? We not doing no flippers during change of command, because I know as a 92 Yankee, I went through all of the proper steps to make sure that I took care of the commander and I took care of you, so you wouldn't be in this situation. So keep up with your stuff. And so I hope I answered that question. I'm gonna keep reading just to make sure. Consume and make sure you update the material slip. Yes, make sure you update the material slip, and by you updating it, you will basically just receive the shortage that came into the SSA. You'll go in there and you'll PGR by going into your BL06I. You'll go back into PB01 and identify that actual work order, and then update the quantity and hit save. That way you can go back and reprint your material slip, and your shortage will be updated. Your material will be updated. Your material slip will be updated. And so when you do go into IWBK and you export your IWBK by going to the main work center, typing in your UIC and exporting that Excel, you will see that the dollar amount decreased. Because guess what? That's what we want. We want to make sure that the dollar amount of these shortages are going down. Now, in regards to this, because this is a lot. When I tell you it is a lot to be a 92 Yankee, and that's why I say a lot of y'all will go into y'all office, y'all will get on Outlook. I'm sorry, y'all, that's a neighbor. Y'all will go into y'all office, y'all will get on Outlook, y'all will check y'all emails, sometimes respond to the emails, sometimes, a lot of the times, ignore them, because me as a PBO, when I send emails, none of the 92s respond to them. None of them. Like, they'll come to me and have a whole conversation with me about what I sent them instead of just responding to the email, so I can know that they acknowledge and so that their commander acknowledge. And so when you go into your office and you read your emails and you go to the SSA, it's just like you're not doing nothing else. Lateral transfers are not going to be every day. And then when you do have lateral transfers, you're delinquent. Like, I don't understand. But anyway, moving on, Sergeant Rogers, I hope I answered your question. And I'm the type of person where I like to FaceTime. If you want to FaceTime me, please FaceTime me. I will have a full-blown FaceTime conversation with you and give you some one-on-one mentorship over the phone and on FaceTime, and when you get to your new unit, just so you can know like what to expect and what to do. But for the most part, based off of your email, you pretty much have the gist of it, right? And it also says, per your video and understanding a little bit of the MOS within the first 72 hours, I want to make sure that once I touch foot on the installation, I speak with my commander to get my commander's expectations. Now, depending on your rank, but you are an NCO, and so that makes sense. You need to go approach your EXO. You need to go approach your commander and say, hey, sir, I'm Sergeant Rogers. I have, so much experience as a 92 Yankee. I did go to AIT. I did reclass. But as far as what I'm tracking and as far as what I know coming to this unit, this is what I am required to do based off of my job. But if you don't mind, can you please list some of the things? Take a notebook in the office with you. Write down what your commander is saying. That way you can go back and do exactly what he said his expectations are. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't see a problem with you going to talk to your EXO and your commander directly, because you work for them. And so I feel like in regards to you going to speak with your expectations, I don't think they're going to feel some type of way about you. They want to see that. And that's what you need to do, okay? As far as getting your SAR completed and having AESIP access and eFlipple access. So I can send you an example of a SAR. And on your SAR, it needs to be signed by your supervisor. It doesn't need to be signed by the person that you work with in the supply room. It needs to be signed by your EXO, your commander. Now, if your supply NCO outranks you and they are an E6 and that's your supervisor, then cool. But try to get somebody who outranks you to sign as your supervisor, and then make sure your S2 security clearance officer signs on there as well, because that is a part of CSDP. When you are getting inspected and they want to see your SAR, it needs to be signed by your security manager, okay? So don't think that when you do your SAR, you can just have somebody that work in the office with you sign your SAR and then have somebody else like your commander or whoever sign it. It needs to be signed off by your security manager, because that is a part of CSDP. If you want a copy of that, I will drop it in the GT Improvement and Mentorship channel. That way y'all can have an example of it, and I will just label it G Army SAR template or example, okay? Moving on. You want to be able to look at your supply cage in office. Okay, I got that. That makes sense. Update all 1687s. And so if you are doing a left seat, right seat with someone, they should already have all of the 1687s. The only thing you need to do is add your name to it, take away from it, change the date, change the expiration date, sign it, and then have everybody in your office that work with you, like your clerks, or have your EXO, or just have your commander sign it. That's too easy. 1687s literally take less than 10 minutes. And so don't sit here and feel like you're going to be overwhelmed with doing 1687s. They should already be pre-filled out for you at this point, and then you just need to update them with your name on it. All right, update your schedule. So yes, I also have a template in regards to like office hours, and you need to have more than one day where you are closed so you can do some recons, so you can update whatever PSD trackers that are required from you by the S4, so you can take a look at how you do your flippals and make sure you have all the supporting documents. I wouldn't be closed on a Monday from 09:30 to lunchtime because it's a Monday. I mean, granted, that's going to happen because everybody will be at the motor pool, but pick another day that you need to be closed. One day is just not enough. All right, so in regards to your schedule, I got that. I understand that. And if you need an example of office hours, then hit me up and I got you. Introducing yourself to the PBO. Listen, a lot of PBOs are extremely busy, but I would think and hope that a PBO, now we are called APOs, accountable property officers, won't have a issue with you coming in there, meeting them and saying, hey, you know, Chief, blah, 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 my name is Sergeant Rogers. I just want to come in here and introduce myself. The PBO is going to be like, dang, you took the time to come up here and introduce yourself. Or if you can't introduce yourself to the PBO because it might be the brigade PBO, then maybe if there is a log sync or a supply sync or whatever sync, maybe your S4 can have your PBO be present, and then they can, you know, tell everybody like, hey, I'm Chief such and such and such, I am the PBO for the battalion, or hey, I'm Chief such and such and such, I work at the brigade. Or if that doesn't happen, then maybe you can ask the S4 like, hey, do you mind reaching out to the PBO to be able to have them come down and introduce themselves so we can know who it is that we're submitting documents to? Or, you know, can we set up some kind of lunch as 92s and the PBO can be included? Or I just want to be able to know how you want me to move in regards to reaching out to my PBO. So I don't think that's going to be an issue, but just work with your S4 in regards to how you should meet and greet your PBO. But I don't think it's an issue, and that's just me because of who I am. Every PBO is different, but for the most part, all of the PBOs that I have worked with on the installation at Fort Bragg or Fort Liberty have been very open and approachable, and they are excited to work with all 92 Yankees. And so I don't see you introducing yourself to the PBO as being an issue. All right, looking at my commander's S-Log and property book. So in regards to you looking at your commander's S-Log, there shouldn't be nothing on your commander's S-Log. If there is something on your commander's S-Log, that is because it is on an outbound heresy, which means it's on a PSD. So when you do go look at your commander's S-Log or your commander's property book, make sure you always right click and print heresy and then go to the arrow at the top. If there is an arrow, if there isn't an arrow, then that means you don't have an outbound heresy. But if it is an arrow, then that means you have an outbound heresy, and you just need to make sure that whoever you are replacing or whoever is working at that supply room has documents on where that piece of equipment has went, or when will it be going, or hey, how come we have this on the commander's S-Log? Like, what are we doing? Like, why has it been sitting here for a week, 2 weeks? Like, do we have a planned turn-in date? And my recommendation is you don't move it to the commander's S-Log until you know you are getting ready to turn it in, because you have to have a document number on a lateral transfer before you can turn into MDRS and the SSA anyway. And you also need to have a PSD created for that. And so go ahead and move it to the commander's S-Log based off of your turn-in date and the PBO being able to give it a document number. Looking up in any incoming and outgoing lateral transfers. And so for that, you need to have DST access, which is decision sourcing, the decision sourcing to website. And that tracks all of your incoming and outgoing PSDs and lateral transfers, and you can filter it however you want. You can filter it based off of your battalion. That way you can see all of the lateral transfers that's incoming to the battalion, that's outgoing to the battalion, that's incoming and outgoing across your brigade. But you don't want to be too consumed with what other UICs are doing. You just want to solely focus on you, and just know that if you do have an incoming or outgoing lateral transfer, that you understand why by looking at your MTO and saying, hey, this was an MTO change because now we are in FY25. I see that I'm going to be receiving this. I see that I need to get rid of this. And so having DST is a great thing for you to have. All of my 92s have it across my whole brigade. They have DST access, because what happens is a lot of the commanders will hit me up or hit you up and be like, hey, why are we receiving this? We don't need this. And then you have to then say, well, sir, yes, we are. Like, we are receiving this because we need it. The MTO says that we are authorized to have 3. We only have 2. DST is showing that we are short 1. Or DST is saying that we're excess 2, so we need to get rid of it. So having DST is very critical to your job. I think you all need to have it. So if you are a 92 watching this, make sure you have DST access. Let me know if there's anything else I need to do within the first week. I feel like you pretty much touched on it. Your prior S4 spoke about possibly having clerks order shortages a certain way, and that's why equipment was popping up on the class 2 to be turned in. I was confused. And so I'm actually confused as well. And so not really sure what the 92 alphas are talking about at the motor pool in regards to your ORLs and you having to turn in class 2. So you can reach out to me directly on my IG at AmeliaG5587. You can email me at AmeliaG5587@gmail like you did when you sent this email. But I'm confused on that question just as much as you are. And so maybe we can get a better understanding, because when you get to your unit, because you haven't gotten there yet to support more, they will be able to go into details about it, and then maybe you'll have an understanding of what they mean when you get there. But if not, when you get there, you can still reach out to me, because I'm confused just like how you are. So I apologize for not being able to answer your question. And then in regards to your S ratings, listen, go to the USR class. The USR class is located on Fort Bragg. I keep saying Fort Bragg because that's what I'm used to calling it. It is now known as Fort Liberty. Sign up for the USR class. In the GT Improvement and Mentorship class, I put the link and I put all of the information in there as well. You can come TDY to Fort Bragg to take the USR class. That way you can understand USR ratings. In regards to USR ratings, it will tell you if you're S1, 2, 3, 4, and why. If you have shortages, it will tell you why. In regards to personnel and slotting, to see where you are slotted, to see if you are in the correct slot, to see how your unit is tracking equipment and maintenance, because maintenance is a part of USR as well. So in regards to your ratings, I can't really talk about that on here because sometimes it can be classified information, and so I don't want to speak on it too much because I just don't want to get in trouble. But if you want to have a conversation about it over the phone, we can. But my recommendation is that you sign yourself up ASAP to attend the USR class. It is given by Mr. Spates. He is a retired sergeant major. He used to be my battalion sergeant major when I was stationed at Hunter Army Airfield, and he is a great instructor. And if you so happen to want to have lunch during one of your lunch breaks, I will come up and have lunch with you at the Force Con building. We can chit chat, we can talk about it. But once you go to that class, you will understand it. I won't even need to talk to you about it. But again, I don't want to talk about it because talking about USR has a lot of classified information about it, and I just don't want to get dinged or pinged or have somebody tell me to delete this video. And so I apologize, but I hope that helped. Sign up for the USR class ASAP. And then lastly, in regards to some of the things that you need to have. So when you get your SAR and you request AESIP access, whoever you're requesting AESIP access through needs to have been on AESIP. And I would think that it would have been your S4 or your PBO, whoever else may have AESIP access. And so what you can do is use me as your supervisor, or you can use me as your security manager, and I will give you the AESIP access. And then within AESIP, you can get you can get ETMs, you can get part tracker. I'm thinking maybe I'll make a Word document on some of the things that you need to have within AESIP, but for the most part, you need to have LDAC, which within LDAC you will have DST. You need to have ETMs. You need to have part tracker. It's some other things that you need to have within AESIP, but for the most part, those are the major 3 things you need to have. And in regards to eFlipple access, you'll go into eFlipple and you will register for having an eFlipple account, and then your S4 will approve you for eFlipple access. In regards to you having AESIP access, G-Army access, and eFlipple, you need to be able to log in at least every 30 days or you will be locked out, okay? And so make sure that you do that. But being that, you know what I'm saying, like I am a PBO, I log into those things every single day. Like when you go into your office and you log into Outlook, log into Teams. When you log into Teams, log into AESIP. When you log into AESIP, log into eFlipple. Even if you don't have a pending Flipple, or if you don't need to initiate a Flipple, just log in so you won't get locked out, and so you won't be bothering the S4 or whoever it is that needs to grant you and give you the access to stop what they're doing just to give you access because you have failed to log in like you were supposed to every 30 days. And so I hope that helped. I hope I answered some of your questions, and I hope this video wasn't too long. Again, I said I was going to break it down into chapters, And I guess at this point it's just like a chapter 1 and a chapter 2. Now I do want to go ahead and try to upload this video as soon as possible. That way you won't think that I did not respond to you, but I will still go ahead and respond to you just to let you know, like, hey, I did a whole video for you, so I hope they help. And then I'm going to close this video out lastly with talking about social media and how it can affect and impact your life, okay? And so we'll go ahead and stop talking about what Sergeant Rogers wanted to know, and we'll talk about social media and how you should deal with it. Y'all, I am back. I had to switch out my batteries. And also in regards to talking about social media, I am on YouTube. I have a scarf on my head, right? And talking about social media, being that I have a scarf on my head, somebody's going to say something. Hey, Chief, you are in uniform. Why do you have that headband or scarf around your hair? It's not authorized. Listen, I am in my house. I deal with these type of comments, and so I can just about imagine what they are dealing with. I have also dealt with comments in regards to me jumping on the trend. I think I did a Med the Stallion trend when I said something about, and the trend was along the lines of being demure, and I had my nose rings in, and somebody said something and reported me back to my battalion commander. I was in my house and I was actually getting ready for work, and so I was like, you know what, let me jump on the trend. Somebody said, this is a quiet profession, you're a warrant officer. Somebody said, now why would you have your nose rings in while you are in uniform? Somebody said, and I'm just looking like, why you can't mind your business? Like, what is it to you that I want to jump on a trend and have my nose rings in? It's clearly that I'm in my house, in my bathroom, getting ready for work, and that I will not show up to work or walk out of my house with having my nose rings in. But no one understands that. And somebody just wants to be able to say something, comment on something, be negative about it, feel like you are wrong because you are in uniform. And there is no regulation that says that I can have piercings on or in uniform while I'm behind closed doors, while I am in my house. Now, is it wrong to have piercings in while you are in uniform? Yes, it is, especially when it pertains to having nose rings. And so for me, I wasn't thinking about it in a sense of who is this going to affect? Who is this going to impact? Who is going to have something to say? Because I was happy in that moment while I was making a video based off of a trend. You know what I'm saying? But when I got called into my battalion commander's office and he spoke to me about it, I was very understanding. And so for Sergeant Collins and Sergeant Thomas, what I will say is, we all know, especially because we are on the social media platforms, giving guidance, and we are trying to make people happy, and we are trying to mentor and influence. We don't care about whether you are doing the right thing or the wrong thing. They feel like you should not do certain things in uniform, and they want to be able to dictate and control what you are doing. A lot of people will say that you're doing it for clout. A lot of people will say that you are doing it for the following. You are doing it. But if you are doing it for the following, then you would have stopped doing it, right? If you are doing it for the following or for a certain amount of people to follow you so you can be a celebrity or whatever the case, then you wouldn't still continue to push out videos and talk about motivational things, or do funny videos, comedy videos based off of your following, because you're posting and uploading every day. So in regards to Sergeant Collins and Sergeant Thomas, what I will say is, don't take what I'm saying to heart. What I will tell you and ask of you is, because I'm a whole warrant officer, I'm a CW2, I have been asked to take videos down. I have been asked to delete videos. I have been called to the side, called in the office, pulled this way, talked about this way. I have people asking me why I'm so small. Hey, Chief, why are you so small? Do you not have time to eat lunch? Look, I look at those, and I look when they ask me those questions like, what, are you slow? Like, what do you mean? I'm stuck in my office all day, and when I do have the time to go eat something, I will eat. But even if I do eat, or even if I explain to you what I do during my lunch break, what is it to you? Why does it matter if I gain weight or not? Like, do you want me to be big? And then I get to a point where I don't even say anything. I just look. I just look. So for Kanisha Collins and for Sergeant Thomas, I would say continue doing what you are doing. What I will say though, if you are or are not watching this video, just be mindful, okay? Because at the end of the day, we all know that you want to be in the military. I want to be in the military. I love it. It has helped me and my family so much. I have been able to benefit from a lot of things in regards to the military. So don't let being on social media jeopardize your career. Just be mindful. If you are going to be in uniform, do like how I did when I jumped on the trend with my nose rings in. Even though I was behind closed doors, somebody pulled me to the side and asked me to take it down. Roger, I don't need to be on a trend that bad to where somebody is pulling me to the side that's asking me to take it down, and I be combative, or I be disrespectful, or I be rude, or I am in my feelings, and I am emotionally attached to social media to the point where I feel like what you're saying does not matter. Because at some point, someone is doing this to stop you from doing it. Someone wants to be in control. someone wants to be in control. You know what I'm saying? And as two African American females, when you are in uniform, just present the military in a positive way, because when you do have somebody coming at you, you don't even have to correct them, because they may or may not be in the service even anyway. Like, they might be retired, you know, something may have changed. And I know it's easy to be like, don't even explain yourself, don't even say why you did this, don't even say why you did that, because it's hard. Because I have found myself doing that also. Like, hey, the only reason why I posted the video of me being you know, with my nose ring is because it was a trend. I had to stop and be like, you know, it don't even matter, because I was in uniform and I'm not authorized to have nose rings in uniform. So whatever it is that you are doing, whatever it is that you love to doing, just continue doing it. Continue doing it. Go seek legal advice, go to the JAG office, and then just kind of write down and try to figure out what it is that you want to talk about, and then go ask legal and JAG if it is okay for you. But don't be upset to the point to where you feel like you want to be disrespectful. Don't jeopardize your career over social media, because some social media platforms may or may not even be here tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from 10 years from now, and you jeopardize your whole career, and you are kicked out of the military, or you're getting demoted, or you're being, you know what I'm saying, reprimanded for something that you are not even doing anymore, something that happened 5 years ago, or you're talking about something that, you know, nobody is even watching anymore. You see what I'm saying? So just be like mindful, be tactful, and just try to remain positive. And what I will say is take a reset, take a break, you know, maybe turn your comments off. Maybe don't allow people to comment on what you are doing, because there's also a lot of things that we mentally go through in regards to being on social media, and nobody sees that, only you see it. But what I will say is maybe you can take a break, take a 1 day, a 1 week break, you know, try to reset, write things down in regards to what you want to, you know, what you want to create. And just don't allow somebody to come for your career based off of what you like to do and what you love to do, because it is going to empower and it is going to inspire and motivate somebody. So what I will say is keep doing what you're doing. Just be mindful. I really appreciate talking to both of y'all, and I really appreciate what y'all are doing for the younger generation. I would just say, just be mindful. That's it. And I hope if you have any questions in regards to some of the things that I went through, or Sergeant Green or whoever else that went through whatever in regards to social media, that you reach out, you have a kumbaya, you have a sit down, and you just get some advice. Because at the end of the day, it's really not that serious. Whether we like what somebody is saying or not, whether we think we are right or wrong in a situation or not. And that's just what it is. But this concludes today's video. I hope y'all like what y'all see. If y'all did, please give me a big thumbs up. Until next time, my name is Amelia. Peace.